Here's how we are testing meta ads for e-commerce brands and why most e-commerce brands under $10 million are overcomplicating their creative testing and thus wasting their time and losing their efficiency in their ad accounts. I'm Jacob Sinog. I run 10x ROAS, which is a leading creative agency helping e-commerce brands scale on Meta and TikTok with our performance-driven ads. And let's dive into this topic. So if you're spending hours every week trying to analyze ads in Google Sheets, trying to be strategic about your creative testing, there is very high chance that you're just wasting your time. And I can say that because I did the same thing. It really felt smart. I felt strategic. I thought I was doing the right thing, trying to analyze everything in Google Sheets, pulling the data from Meta ad account, and then trying to find the patterns and what is performing well and what is not. But the truth is, it didn't actually help us scale. And now we are not really doing it. In Google Sheets, we have an alternative process, which I want to share here. So we work with brands in that $1 to $10 million range. We also work with brands below $1 million, and then work with brands for $100+ million. So we do have a variety of experiences here. And we also run our own internal brands. And after testing everything from tracking spreadsheets to automated dashboards, we realized one thing, and that is that the brands that scale fast don't really spend more time analyzing their ads. And sometimes brands under $1 million will spend more time trying to analyze their ads and try to find winners more than the $100 million brands. And the actual winning brands and the brands that are successful spend more time creating ads rather than more time analyzing ads. So here's what I mean. Most seven-figure brands, so brands from $1 to $10 million, get stuck in this loop. They launch a few ads, they track everything manually, they spend hours trying to find the winning formula, and by the time they figure out what might be working, it's already outdated. We tried the spreadsheet setup. We were tracking hook rate, hold rate, what is the creator's name, who's in the ad, what is the landing page, or sending them to homepage, product page, advertorial, listicle, what is the ad spend, what are all the other metrics like CPA, ROAS. And I try to track everything manually. I was importing data from Google or from Meta ad account to Google spreadsheets. But then tracking manually, trying to find patterns. I use the conditional formatting in Google Sheets, and I can maybe share the template that we've used. But everything was more tracked manually, and you had to have the process there to do that. And everything looked amazing on the surface. If you were to share this with your team, they would be like, "Oh, like this person's just being so strategic, and they know exactly what they were doing, and they're just amazing with data and analysis." But the truth is, when it came to making decisions, it didn't really give us any insights. And then if you wanted to watch those videos, so you have the data now, you have 20 different ads there every week. And if you want to watch the videos, that means just clicking 5 different tabs. Now you have to open the video, you have to play the video, kind of worse quality. It's not ideal. Now, if you're trying to determine which part of the video, when you have view through metrics and you have like 25, 50, 75, 100% view through metrics, and you have the video in Google Drive, you're trying to figure out like, okay, if there's a drop off between 50 and 75%, like which part of the video it is based on the length. And you have a lot of kind of analysis there and thinking and a lot of manual work just to even analyze the ads that might not be working well. And updating it every week felt like a second job. And if you are especially under 1 million or 1 to 10 million, you don't have many team members, you don't really have a lot of time on your hands to be in depth in the Google spreadsheet and trying to find something that might work. Which, if you've run ads on Meta, you already know that it is very hard to tell. And some things might be working, but when you try to replicate it, it might just tank completely. And so you cannot 100% tell what is going to work. You always want to analyze it and increase your chances of finding the winners. And this is good for it, but the time it requires just not worth it, in my opinion. And eventually, what we've asked is this actually helping us scale or just making us feel strategic? And we felt strategic with where, like, okay, this is exactly what's helping us. And we got some insight. Like, it's not that we were just looking at numbers and couldn't really see anything. We got some insight from it and it helped us, but it's just not worth the time it took us because we were just importing and analyzing everything and then cleaning the data and just making sure that I'm watching the videos. And if you are a small team, or it's just you running your ads, it's probably not the best um, time invested. So here's what I recommend for brands under $10 million trying to scale meta ads. The first step is to start with your audience. So this is really starting from scratch to scaling $10 million plus. First, starting with your audience. So before you film a single video, you need to know exactly who you are talking to. This starts with data. So we like to scrape customer reviews, product feedback, Facebook comments, Reddit threads, Amazon competitor reviews, whatever you can find, just to get you some data that you can then analyze. And then what you want to do is drop it all into ChatGPT and have it break things down into categories like pain points. So you want to know what people are frustrated with based on customer reviews, product feedback, comments, Reddit, Amazon, all of that, like anything you can find. You want to know what your ideal audience is frustrated with. What are their misconceptions? Meaning, what did they get wrong about your product or industry? Then, what are their objections? Why might they hesitate to buy? Maybe what is something that they think about the product that it has that they are unlikely to purchase because of? Then you have desires and aspirations. So, what outcome are they dreaming of? What is the solution they're looking for? And what are their buying triggers? So, what finally convinced them to buy? And this is the foundation of every message you write, every angle you test, every hook you create. Like you need to have answers to these. Then the second step is to build out your customer personas. I've already had a video before this one where I went more in depth on the customer personas with actual examples. So if you haven't seen that, I recommend you watching that. But for this one, you don't want to have avatars. You actually need customer personas. So questions like what are their beliefs? What brands do they follow? What frustrates them on a daily basis? There's much more or many more questions they can ask, but this is kind of like a basic. And you're not just targeting 30-year-old moms, just to give you an example, but you're targeting new moms worried about toxic ingredients or moms juggling two jobs looking for healthy meals. And you need to speak to their psychology. So it is not enough to have kind of your customer persona or avatar being women 30 to 35, but you actually want to have like new moms worried about toxic ingredients, very specific, or juggling two jobs looking for healthy meals that they can cook in 30 minutes at home. Then the third step here is to create ads for each of these personas that you come up with. So once you have 2 to 3 strong personas, it's time to map your angles and add concepts to each one. I also covered this in the previous video. This means testing different hooks for each persona, using creators who look like them or speak their language. That means who look like your customers and customer personas, showing the exact problem they're trying to solve. For example, if one persona buys because of eco-friendliness and the other for affordability, you don't just mention both in one ad. Sometimes brands will do that and they'll mention 5 different benefits that apply to completely different personas. What you want to do is you want to run entirely different creatives for each of these kind of benefits or personas. And the winners will tell you who to scale. So just go based on the data of the actual winners. And the fourth step is track what's actually working. So here's where most seems overcomplicated and why we don't obsess over spreadsheets is we let Meta tell us what it likes because it's optimizing in real time anyway. And we track, and we usually do this in the ad account. I think that's probably the most straightforward. If you are a media buyer or a person who's overseeing marketing and you know how the Meta ad account is structured, what it says, then you can do that directly in the ad account. I'll then share you in the next slide what we are also using to help with that. But in the ad account, we track business metrics first, so CPA, ROAS, total spend. Sometimes we might look at conversion rate and other metrics as well, and retention metrics second. For business metrics, what's also helpful is average order value, which you can track in a Meta ad account as well. That's also good to see which landing pages, for example, and which customer personas are purchasing more and spending more on their first time purchase directly in your ad account. And retention metric second, which is hook rate, hold rate, view through, that's 25, 50, 75, 100%. And you can see where people are dropping off, how they're engaging with your ads, just getting a good sense of that. And here's why that works. If an ad gets spent, it converts and holds attention, it is very likely to be a winner. If it gets very low hook rate and no sales, then the hook is off. And if people drop off at 10 seconds, for example, the structure of messaging didn't really land to this customer persona you were trying to target, or the hook might be just completely different from what they expected afterwards. So there's a misalignment between the hook and the rest of the video. From there, we duplicate, tweak, build variations only from proven winners. And I think this is the thing I would point out the most, which is the mistake we've done with the Google Sheets, is we try to import everything to Google Sheets when we were doing that. And the problem with that is you are analyzing ads that didn't even get spent. We were testing with cost caps in many cases. And so you have that, and the ad is not going to get spent if Meta believes that it's not going to perform or it cannot attract new customers at the cost cap that they've set. And a lot of times we're just importing a lot of ads that were not having spent, and it was just like not ideal. And doing that in Google Sheets was just taking too much time that it was not worth doing that. But what we then do, I'll share in a second. But once we have a winning ad, that's when we slow down and start analyzing. And we're not looking at everything. We only analyze winners. So those are the ads you want to analyze. For the losers, you want to take a note on like what you've tested, what was the angle of customer persona. And if you see that you have more of those that are not performing, maybe be okay. Maybe this customer persona, we have something wrong about them, or maybe they don't care about these benefits, they want something else. And you want to note that, but you should not really be analyzing losing ads because I don't think it's a good use of time, especially if you're using cost caps on Meta. So that's because not every ad deserves your time. And you're not here to make every idea work, which sometimes we as marketers want. So we have a creative and we want everything to work. But you are here to find the ideas that are already working and amplify them. So when we spot a top performing creative, we ask four key questions. And there's probably more questions that we ask ourselves, but these are a good starting ground. The first one is what hook worked? Was it a question, a bold claim, pattern interrupt? So we analyze the hook. If the hook rate is relevant and the ad is performing, did it reference a pain point or showcase the product immediately? So we are trying to understand what about the hook worked well. Then which creator we used in the ad. We take a note here and we might repurpose the creator more in the future and work with them again if their ads are performing very well consistently. Which structure did we use? More of like what framework? So that would go problem, solution, benefits, feature, social proof, CTA, or did we do demonstration, benefits, CTA, and like what was the structure, what was the framework behind the ad? What resonated with the audience? And then we multiplied. So we repurposed for different personas. So if it worked for the value conscious customer, can it also hit the eco conscious one with the minor tweaks? Then same script, similar creator. So we take the same winning script and film it again with a similar creator, maybe someone with a slightly different look, accent, or energy. Or we do the other way around, which is same creator, similar script. We use the same creator, but tweak the script to highlight a different pain point or benefit. And this lets us isolate what's driving performance, if it's the message or the messenger, aka creator. And we change the first 3 seconds. We test new hooks while keeping the structure same. And you'll be surprised how just changing the hook can revive a falling ad and then give it a second breath. So that's kind of like overall structure of how we do this. And we like to do this directly in the ad account if you're a media buyer or a person who's overseeing ads in the ad account. Or what we also do if you want to share it with the team and maybe not everyone is well versed in ad account, we will use Atria. So we simplified everything. We went away from Google Sheets and we now only use Atria for quick insights from our ads. And we've been using Atria for several months now, and we like to use it as a second pair of eyes to show us insights from our ad account that we might have missed. And it shows us which ads are working, what concepts, hooks, creators perform best, which ads need optimizing. And it gives you very quick insights that are valuable and helpful. You can see which ads are spending the most, and you can filter by different attribution settings, different metrics as well. And it actually helps us make better and faster creative decisions in real time. So we like to use Atria as more of like a dashboard and analytics tool to help us analyze the ads instead of Google Sheets. So anything that we could do in the Google Sheets, we use Atria for. Much quicker. It's always connected to the ad account. You can see how much you are spending in different time ranges. It's just much more efficient. But we like to analyze all of these things in the ad account also, just to get up to date info. And if you're testing a lot of ads, spending a lot on Meta, then it might be more efficient to use Atria, so you don't look at hundreds of ads that are not spending enough for you to be worth analyzing. And this is not a promotion for Atria. If you want to use it and you haven't used it before, haven't heard of it, you can sign up in the link below. I'll get some partner commission from them, but or more of a affiliate commission. But if you don't want to just go direct to their website, you can sign up there. Everything is the same. I don't know if there's any discount from the link, but that's everything from how we are testing the ads and our overall structure and what we use and why we started with Google Sheets, but now only use Atria. And this is how we are analyzing the ads after we find the winners and what we are looking at to trying to understand how we can replicate the success with the new ads. So I hope this was helpful. If you're looking to work with us, just click the second link in description where you can apply